Welcome back, students. In the earlier lecture, we see that how we load our point feature, which is val, and how we style that, and also fit our map bounds to the extent of our val. Actually, I forgot one thing that I need to I will add the val to this layer so that you can turn it on and off. But I forgot to add it to our layer controls, control layers. So we can do so by calling the add overlay method. Okay, let's see the method from our documentation, leaflet documentation. Actually, it is everything in the leaflet documentation. I'm just writing the codes from the leaflet documentation. So this is our vector layers. This is our overlays. This is our layers. And this is our base layer and our overlays. And you can see that it has some method. And one of the method is add overlay. What it does, add an overlay with the given name, the control. So checkbox entry. Okay. And add base layer is a base map entry. Okay. So our control layers, our layer control has been defined as control layers. So we'll call the add overlay method. After we have styled it, we'll call control layers dot add overlay, and we will give this data valves. Our GeoJSON has been loaded and stored into variable valves. So we'll give it the variables valves, and we'll name it, say, just valves. Okay. And now let's see whether it is working or not. It is working, and here we have our valves with our check mark. So you can untick that. If it's gone, we can tick mark it. Now it is appearing. Okay. So after that, let's load our pipeline and style it. So I title it differently. Actually, I'll copy this chunk of code. Okay. Copy this chunk of code, this line of code, paste it here, and I'll call it pipelines. And in here it is pipelines on 05.geojson. So I will do this pipelines. And if you remember, I said that for our line and polygon feature, we will not use point to layer, but we use something called style and on each feature. So our style function will, style key will hold the function that will contain the styles, and on each feature we will show the pop-up or the tooltip. Okay, so let's do that. Here, I will remove this portion, and here I will say style, equal to style pipelines. So this is the function that I haven't written yet, but I will write. And on is feature, okay. On its feature, I'll define another function, or I'll rename it process pipeline. You can name it anything. I name it process pipelines. You can give it any name. It's completely okay. And now I haven't written these two functions, so I'll write these two functions. So let's do that. Function is style pipelines. If we see that what parameters does it take, it's only take the GeoJSON feature. Okay. And on each feature, take the feature and the layer. Okay, let's do it for the style. It takes only the GeoJSON feature. So we'll call our GeoJSON feature JSON, and after that we'll catch the properties again. So we'll define another variable attribute, or in short at, and we'll say JSON.properties, the same procedure, and we'll set our styling for the pipelines according to the category of the pipeline. So let's close this attribute table and maybe load our pipeline here. Okay, let's load our pipelines and also our trainings here. Okay, let's so let's open our pipeline, open attribute table, and here we have the category. So we want to have our color according to the category. Let's check how many categories do we have. So fields and values, category, and here all you need. So we have distribution pipeline, we have reticulation pipeline, and we have transmission pipeline. Okay, so we have 3 categories altogether. So let's do that. Here, I write another switch statement, and it will be at dot category. Okay, and the first one will be distribution category, distribution pipeline. I write it exactly as it is, distribution pipeline. So if it's distribution pipeline, I'll set the color. You can choose any color from this color code. Just pick the color and copy this hex code and paste it into a single code. So I have chosen already a color, so I'll copy that color and paste it the color here. You are free to choose your own color. It doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter. Your map appearance depends on it. So be very careful to choose the color, okay? So I'll copy that and paste it a couple of times. This is distribution pipeline, and this is reticulation pipeline. And reticulation pipeline, I'll choose another color. I'll copy that and I'll paste the color here. Actually, I have made a mistake. This will be semicolon, not comma. Semicolon. And for last one is transmission pipeline. Okay. So transmission pipeline, and for the color will be this one. The color will be this one. And if it's by default, then I'll set the color to this one. Okay. And after, and as I'm only giving it the color, so I'll only return color and nothing else. So return, I'll say color. Okay. And let's see whether it is working or not. Actually, it will not work because our process pipeline is still undefined. So we need to write our process pipeline. Process pipelines. Okay, let's write that and we'll do it together. So here our process pipeline is feature, the function, and it takes 2 parameters. One is the feature and one is the layer. So let's see that what is feature and what is layer. So actually this feature is the JSON itself, and the layer is, okay, let's see what is the feature and what is the layer. So we'll call it JSON and we'll call it layer. And for the process pipeline, we'll do nothing but console log, these 2 things. Okay. JSON, and after that console log the layer, save it, and let's load our map to see that what is happening. You see the pipeline is there, it is looking good. And if I open my map, so this is the object and this is the layer. So in the object we have the JSON, we have the geometry and the coordinates. So as it is a line, it will have a minimum of 2 pair of coordinates and the maximum can be unlimited. So it has like 13 pair of coordinates. And this is the properties. Again, all the properties from in the attribute table are available here. And in the layer, so this is the JavaScript, this is the leaflet layer. Okay, so this is the all the options for the leaflet layer. We have the lat long, we have the bounds, and we have the feature here. So this itself is a leaflet layer. Okay, so let's see that how we can, as it itself is the leaflet layer, we can use this layer and bind our tooltip or pop-up to this layer. You got me? That this itself is a leaflet layer. So we are catching the leaflet layer itself in our process pipeline function as a parameter. So we can use that to bind our tooltip or pop-up and show it, like when we will be hovering our mouse, the line information like the bulb will appear here. So let's do that. So here again, I will catch the attribute and I'll call it var json.properties. Okay. And I'll call the layer.bind tooltip. Again, the bind tooltip method, as I said that we can use this layer to bind our tooltip or pop-up. And what attribute I will show? Let's check our attribute table. I'll show the pipe ID, the location, the diameter, the material, and the category. This will be enough. Location, diameter. Okay, let's do that. First one will be pipe ID, and it is called add.pipe ID. After that, I'll put a brick, and I'll call the diameter. Okay, diameter and dot diameter. And as the diameter is in millimeter, so I'll add a millimeter. And after that, I put another bracket, brick, and the location, and add dot location. And after that, maybe location and maybe the length and the category. Okay. Right. Maybe category and dot category, and after that the length. Okay. Change please. Sorry. Okay. So let's see that how it is appearing. And actually, I'll do another thing, that I will add it to our control layers so that I cut it, so that it is also available in our layer controls. So I name it pipelines and I paste it into our pipelines and give it a name pipelines. And let's load that. Okay. So now if I hover over to any pipeline, our information is appearing. This is the pipe ID, diameter in millimeter, location, category, and the length. The length is meter. Maybe I put a meter there. And we have our layer here, the pipeline, and our valve. So if you notice that, if I turn on the pipeline, turn off the pipeline and turn it on again, so it is on the top of the valves. You see, it is on top of the valves. So you know that GIS or in a layer approach, like a layer, multiple layers on top of each other. If we put multiple layers on top of each other, then we form a map. So here, when I am turning off the pipelines, it is gone from the map, and when I am turning it on again, it is on the top of all other layers. So therefore, it is on the top of the valves. And when I am turning off the valves and turning it on again, so the valve is on the top of the other layers. So if you have multiple layers, and many times you will be seeing that you are hovering over to your feature, but there is no properties showing. In that case, your that layer is at the bottom. In that case, you need to bring it to the front. Okay. So now we have our valves and we have our pipelines here. So I stop the lecture here, and in the next lecture, I will load our buildings. And for the buildings, I will apply some complex symbology, maybe something nested in the switch statement. Okay, so see you on the next lecture.